I was shocked. No matter how good it was going to be, they're going to find some reason not to like it. But sometimes it pays to push back a little bit.
Marine basic training is renowned for breaking down its recruits, then rebuilding them as tight-knit warrior units. Occasionally, the tactics are unusual, especially when the drill instructors find out that one of their buzz-cut boys was in a rockabilly band. Hello, and welcome to the Mighty Pen Podcast. I'm David L. Robbins, your host and founder of the Mighty Pen Project, a free writing program for veterans and their families, in partnership with the Virginia War Memorial Foundation here in my hometown, Richmond, Virginia. Joe Maslanka spent his teen years banging on an electric guitar. When his Marine Corps drill instructor found out, Joe wound up standing on a stool in the barracks, crooning Elvis. But the situation got complicated when his drill instructor discovered Joe was good. Let's listen to Joe Maslanka's hilarious story, 3311 Elvis, read by Harry Kollatz. Then Joe and I will talk about the Marines, rock and roll, and the King.
I'm sitting peacefully atop my green wooden footlocker, squinting from the high-watt fluorescent lights as I sift through my mail. This is one of the few peaceful moments at Marine Corps Boot Camp, Parris Island, South Carolina. Like a gift from God, each Sunday brings 2 hours of peace, shared equally between an hour of church service and an hour of free time. The Protestants have their hour, we Catholics have ours. An hour spent sitting on our footlockers to shine boots, clean weapons, read mail, or just contemplate life is mental bliss. Although you can enjoy the free hour, you can never depend on it. Like everything else on Parris Island, savor the moment, but be prepared for the worst. Just a few weeks ago, peacefully sorting through loving pictures from my family, my tranquility got ambushed. Sergeant Hernandez, the designated dickhead of our team of drill instructors, felt that my mom's picture needed to be posted on the motivation board. This is a bulletin board where the privates in our platoon post pictures of hot girls from their hometown. It is also known affectionately as the hog board. I resist torture and threats to keep my mother's picture off of that board. My peace was defiled, but my resilience earned a call home. I was challenged, physically threatened, to coax my family to send an alternate picture. My father owns a bar, and they found a willing patron, a good friend, to pull off her shirt in the back room. Within days, a titular photo arrived at 3rd Battalion, H Company, Platoon 3311. The delivery of the picture so touched the heart of Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Reeves that he found a special place for it in the motivational manual he kept buried in the bottom right-hand drawer of his desk. The reward for my picture was a quick thumb through the manual. Saltpeter could not burn those amateur erotic images from my mind. Sergeant Hernandez is not on duty today. This Sunday brings the charm and wit of Sergeant Lane. Imagine Dennis the Menace, all grown up and stuffed into a set of Charlies, and you may picture Sergeant Lane. Sergeant Hernandez is the dick. Staff Sergeant Newbie is the mellow old salt, come to DI duty late, and Sergeant Lane is somewhere in between. Sergeant Lane doesn't yell, but speaks loudly. He generally doesn't get physical. His specialty is berating the platoon. One day, after we had tested his patience, he had us disassemble every rack, carry the pieces and mattresses down 3 flights of steps, scrub the deck, and bring everything back. When we didn't do it within his allotted time of 10 minutes, he meted out physical exercise to exhaustion, every so often stopping us to call us little girls or ladies. He did this in a condescending tone, exhibiting a level of calm that made it all the more irritating. At one point, he stood alongside me as he continued his barrage of insults. For one brief moment, I considered punching him in the testicles just to shut him up and let the platoon enjoy the moment. In my mail from home is an issue of Guitar Player magazine. I'm thinking I need to discard it when the sun and high wattage glare reflect off a pair of spit-shine dress shoes parked before me. The magazine is snatched from my grip with eager urgency. What the hell are you reading, boy? Sergeant Lane begins flicking through the pages of Rock and Rollers with a dismissive, crooked smile. What is this hippie shit? Start talking, scumbag. Sir, it's just junk mail from home, sir. Junk mail, huh? This don't look like junk mail. You one of those weird rock and roll freaks, Mashevsky? Just as I'm about to answer him, my best friend from high school, Tommy Kirk, whom I had convinced to accompany me in joining the Corps, decides to interject, "He played in a band, sir. They were pretty good." 10 words and a few seconds is all it took to detonate my free time and shatter the peace. Private Mashevsky, we had no idea we had a genuine rock and roll star amongst us. Did you have a lot of groupies? Strange sex stuff? Drugs? Tell me all about it, boy. I'm really intrigued. I peer at my best friend like the guy who's just gone public with all my dirty little secrets, a look that could kill. Don't look at Private Kirk. Oh, no. He did us a favor. In fact, let's go share this revelation with the senior drill instructor. The shitstorm begins to brew. I follow Sergeant Lane to the senior drill instructor's office for interrogation regarding my brief career in entertainment. After playing in a band for 4 years at the ripe age of 22, I decided I needed direction in my life. The band went further than most, but after running into too many drunken wannabes, I sought stability. I knew enough to never discuss it. But here I was, again on the verge of some degrading scenario over another item sent from home. I conclude never to open any more mail. What do we have here, Sergeant Lane? The senior drill sergeant pulls himself up from tedious paperwork, a bemused smirk on his face. Well, senior drill instructor, we have just come to learn that old Mashevsky here was a bona fide rock and roll star in his hometown. Is that so, Mashevsky? What were you, one of those long-haired freaky guys with a guitar, smoking some weed and banging nasty hippie girls? Sir? No, sir. This private drank alcohol, sir, but no drugs. No long hair either, sir. I played in a rockabilly, blues kind of band, sir. Rockabilly? What's that? Sir, like Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, sir. Damn, Elvis. Oh, I like me some Elvis. He kicks a steel and green vinyl-padded chair towards me. Get on that chair and sing me some Elvis, boy. Wanting all of this to end quickly, I step onto the makeshift mini-stage, cocking my head forward to avoid hitting the ceiling. The drill instructors eye each other with the anticipation of a late-night crowd at a stand-up comedy show. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's down at the end of Lonely Street, old Aubrey Hotel. I thrust into the Elvis classic with all the gusto of a fat lady at the close of an opera. I finished the song in under 2 minutes. The sarcastic smile of senior drill instructor Reeves, who resembles a younger Clark Gable without the mustache, is replaced by a look of astonishment. Damn, boy, you ain't bad. Get off the chair. What do you think, Sergeant Lane? Mashevsky can sing. Who would have thought? I bet there ain't another private this whole damn series can wail like Elvis. We're going to spotlight you, Mashevsky. Sir? I'm rolling you out to the other DIs in this series. They'll eat their hearts out. Shit, especially Sergeant Pickford. Make us proud, boy. Get ready to sing your ass off. We got us an actual Elvis-like rock and roll private. Sir, I couldn't do this justice without a guitar. Fuck that, Mashevsky. You just did it. Now repeat that performance and I'll have Sergeant Lane grind you to boot shit on the quarterdeck. Choose, maggot. Sir, the private will sing, sir. Smart move, Mashevsky. You'll go far in this man's corps. Sergeant Lane, round up the drill instructors from the other platoons. I got to show off the talent in 3311. Mashevsky, go back to your rack. Be ready to put on a little show. Sir, yes, sir. Hold on there, boy. I freeze at attention and snap 180 degrees for my senior drill instructor's final order. Sir, yes, sir. He eases up to my right ear like a python slithering to its prey. Don't fuck it up, Mashevsky. Don't embarrass this platoon or I'll fuck you up. He lets that sink in, holding me there with a sadistic stare and evil grin. Now go warm up those pipes, Elvis. I return to the brief sanctity of my footlocker. Within 10 minutes, the platoon is startled by the onslaught of visiting drill instructors. They are the competition. We face off against the other platoons in drill, physical activity, pugil sticks, everything. They are cordial to one another, but the tension underlying their camaraderie is intense. With quizzical expressions, they jam into the tiny office. "What do you think's going on in there?" asks my old and possibly former friend, Tommy Kirk. "The result of your big freaking mouth. That's what's going on in there." I no sooner get my words out as my name is bellowed from the office. "Mashevsky!" When the senior, or any drill instructor, calls for you from the office, the entire platoon must sound off in unison. "Private Mashevsky, report to drill instructor." I hustle into the office and squeeze my way toward the chair. Drill instructors are shoulder to shoulder, crammed around me. Amidst smart-ass comments, half-cocked smiles, and muffled laughter, I await the senior drill instructor's order. "All right, Mashevsky, give us a show." I explode into a cappella versions of "That's All Right, Mama," "Blue Moon of Kentucky," and close the show with "Heartbreak Hotel," with minimal to no pause between each song. My heart is racing, adrenaline steamrolls through my nervous system. I've played a lot of shows for money, but never for my physical well-being. I come to attention teetering on the rickety steel chair, awaiting my fate. "How about that? Look at the talent we got here in the 3311, Staff Sergeant Reeves says. Stunned by the genuineness of my senior drill instructor's intentions and the approval of our rival drill instructors, I descend the chair with easing nerves and swelling pride. One drill instructor is very impressed. He is from platoon 3313. He is ramrod thin, 5'5" of country boy from the hills of Kentucky. "Damn, boy, that boy's good. He's really good," he spits out through missing front teeth in an Appalachian drawl. The drill instructors burst out of the tiny office. The senior drill instructor steps from behind his desk to stand in front of me. "Mashevsky, you entertain the series. Time to entertain your fellow privates. I'm booking you for a concert tonight after chow." "Sir, I can't do that, sir." "Can't? Mashevsky, are we going to have another hogboard encounter? Should I have Sergeant Lane warm your ass up on the quarterdeck? I told you to entertain the platoon and you will motivate them. You hear me, boy?" On a chair in a little office was one thing, but stepping out in front of my fellow Marines I spend every day with is another. I imagine the ridicule I would open myself up to. The fact that the senior is enamored with my performance wouldn't help. "Sir, it has been crystal clear to this private that Marines always try to do their best, sir." I take a shot at reverse psychology. "What are you angling at, Mashevsky? You're pissing me off." "Sir, to truly motivate my fellow privates, I would need my guitar and harmonica, sir. Otherwise, trying to sing in the large squad bay would not do justice or represent the platoon in Marine Corps fashion, sir." "What do you know about Marine Corps fashion, boot?" Sergeant Lane decides to chime in. "Now hold on there, Sergeant Lane. This boy has a point. You still remember how to get up to the phone banks, boy?" "Sir, yes, sir. You got 5 fucking minutes to run your ass down there, call home, and have your mommy and daddy ship your guitar. So why are you standing there? Move your ass." "Sir, aye, sir." My family is stunned to hear from me a second time in 3 weeks and grateful to ship another package my way. In 4 days, the package is delivered. I earn the honor of blowing taps on the harmonica every night at lights out. To my surprise, I am not immediately ordered to entertain the platoon. It's going to happen, but at least it will be under the cover of instruments. A week later, we moved to the rifle range for 2 intense weeks of marksmanship training. I am shaken out of a sound sleep by the fire watch private. "Hey, Maz, this senior, he wants you in the office." Private Lopez is a guy from Argentina who earned his U.S. citizenship and decided the Marines was how he wanted to spend it. "Damn, Lopez, what time is it?" I pull back the covers of my rack in the glare of his flashlight. 0100, Maz. I sit up, shove my feet into shower shoes, and shuffle over old, highly polished wooden floors down the hall of the World War II-era squad bay. Light from the office beams into the hallway like a beckoning to death's door. I snap to attention, slap the door frame 3 times. "Sir, Private Mashevsky, reporting as ordered, sir." "At ease, Mashevsky. Me and some of the other drill instructors are working late. We needed some entertainment." Leaning against a stool is my black Fender acoustic guitar. Sergeant Pickford is here from 3313. He smiles a toothless grin. Play us some more of that there Elvis shit, son. A little more Blue Moon of Kentucky stuff. You got a request, Mashevsky? Get to it, says Staff Sergeant Reeves. Acknowledging his order, I sit on the stool, tune my guitar, and barrel into a 5-song performance. There's no clapping, no sing-along, although I catch some toe-tapping to a few of the Elvis numbers. The completion of each song is met with the sound of shuffling paper and humming fluorescent lights. I get an encore request from Sergeant Pickford, launching into Tear It Up by Johnny Burnett and the Rock and Roll Trio. My leg shakes to the rhythm as I throw in some rockabilly hiccups and yelps. I like that boy. He's good, declares Sergeant Pickford. Good show, Mashevsky. Now get your ass back to your rack. Long day tomorrow, informs Staff Sergeant Reeves. I sound off and turn to vacate the office. Hold on there, Mashevsky. Don't you usually get paid for a gig? Sir? Get your ass over here. I got your pay. Oh, shit, is all I can think. I come to attention by his desk. Staff Sergeant Reeves reaches into a bottom drawer, snatching a can of Coke from its confines. Yanking the tab, the hiss of the can is the sound of angels' harps. I begin to salivate. Not tasting a Coke for at least 2 months, I lunge for the can. Get a grip, Mashevsky. Let's see. 5 songs. That's good for 5 sips. Put your hands behind your back. The senior drill instructor tilts 5 sips of Coke onto my tongue. It's like sweet nectar. Give the boy a bonus gulp for that encore, requests my newest fan, Sergeant Pickford. A wash of Coca-Cola kisses my throat like Dom Perignon. You'll entertain the platoon tomorrow. Hear me, boy? Informs my senior. Sir! Aye, sir! It won't be the last time. Through the Marines, I look to change my life, but there's just some things that are meant to stick with you. I ran from rock and roll, but I'm grateful it found me and wouldn't let go.
That was Harry Kollatz unreservedly performing 3311 Elvis, written by Joe Maslanka, who no Marine seems to be able to pronounce, and they call you Mashevsky. It just cracks me up. The thrust of that story is that when you join the Marines, you freaking do what you're told, independent of what that might be. Yeah?
Yeah.
The point of that is,
Sometimes it pays to push back a little bit.
yeah?
Yeah.
They had to know, Lane and Reeves, and in the end, Pickford, they had to know this is demeaning and degrading.
Mm-hmm.
Did they genuinely go, well, we set out to demean and degrade him, but son of a gun, this kid's good? I mean, did they genuinely?
Yeah. That's not exaggerated, because I was shocked. I think no matter how good it was going to be, I was going to go through another hogboard experience. They were going to find some reason not to like it. But Staff Sergeant Reeves, when I got home, I told some of these stories to like my uncle, and who was in Vietnam and was in the Marine Corps, and some people that had gone through boot camp, and they were like, "Man, that guy's ahead of his time." They couldn't believe that happened in there.
Some of my favorite lines in that story are, so you some kind of rock and roll freak with the long hair and the girls and
Oh yeah,
yeah, you're
yeah.
right. Their ideas of rock and roll stardom were so naive.
This is '84, so you're not far off from the '70s, and a lot of them came through the Marine Corps in the '70s. And
I don't know. They you just strike me clearly as the ducktail kind of guy. I don't think that there was any real risk of you being a,
yeah,
flock of seagulls kind of hairband dude.
and I would go through that again. I'm trying to think how many years later, applying for state trooper in Delaware, and they gave me the lie detector.
Yeah.
And the guy runs in, he goes, "Well, you passed." He goes, "But you're going to tell me," this is the state cop. And he reminded me of Lane that time. He says, "You're going to tell me you played in a rock and roll band. You haven't been to a prostitute. You haven't had some weird sex." And I looked down, I said, "Define weird." And he goes, "You're good. Get out of here."
So you said there was three types of drill instructors. There was the dick,
Mhm.
there was the old pro, and then there was the free agent who wandered between the three,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which one did you gravitate to? Which one did the most for you?
In his way, Lane, as irritating as he was, really, his role was teacher. So he taught a lot, but the guy I gravitated to the most was Staff Sergeant Reeves. He was fantastic. He was a good man. I remember one time I was, kinda new, I was 22, just still trying to find my way, and, he had made me the guide for the platoon, and we were coming down, and he said something to me like, "Hey, Maslanka," he goes, "Damn good Marine." He just whispered it to me, and I was so pumped up. I ran down the steps, I dropped the flag, and I did a monkey flip to the front of the line, and here comes this other platoon. And this guy goes, "What the heck are you? What's going on in here?" Unfortunately for me, Staff Sergeant Reeves wasn't taking us to chow. It was
Right?
Sergeant Hernandez.
Oh
And
no, not him.
oh man. And the guy walked over, and the other drill instructor, and he started questioning. And I said, "Well, that was me, sir." And he told Sergeant Hernandez, he goes, "There's no way that guy did a monkey flip. That he's too tall. I think he's covering for one of his Marines." But they put me, yeah, that was another fun day.
Jumping to the end of the story, you said you ran from rock and roll.
Yeah.
So you got out of high school. As we know from other stories, your father owned a bar in Philadelphia. You grew up in that bar. You grew up in that environment. You joined a band. You got close. You had great experiences. And the one day you woke up and said, "This is a dead end."
Mhm.
So then, of all your options, the Marines was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
What does that pause mean?
Well, yeah, I when I got out of high school, I did a year and a half at Penn State. Didn't like school. At that time, I just didn't like school. My parents, "You gotta go to college, you gotta go to college." And, I went about a year and a half, came out with a, what, a 2.0, 1.5 grade point average, and, I said, "Dad, this isn't for me." I played with a couple of bands until I met those guys, and we did pretty well. But yeah, one day I ran into a guy that was in his early 30s and drunk and begging to play with us. He was good, but I looked at him and I said,
Now, this is a funhouse mirror,
"This is
right?
going to be me. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is going to be me 10 years from now." And I don't want that to be. I had to shake my life up. And I actually applied to the Army that winter. I told him I wanted to be an MP. No one knew it. And I went down to the MEPS. And this guy sits me down. He goes, "Okay." He said, "We looked at your ASVAB scores. You're going to be a medic." I said, "Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I had a recruiter just told me I'm going to be an MP." "Well, your scores say medic," which today I could kind of kick myself in the ass for. I would probably should have did it, but he says, "Nah, medic." And I said, "Okay." I said, "I think we're done here." And I got up and started walking. He goes, Wait a minute. Come back, come back." And he goes, "Okay, January 11th, 1984." He goes, "You'll leave for Fort McClellan." And I said, "Well, I'll think about it. Just turn me off." And I continued on with the band. So when I went to the Marine recruiter, they already had my ASVAB scores. I was kind of like custom made to just walk in, and he did a good job of recruiting me.
Your sense of yourself needing direction
Mm.
led you first to the Army. Do you think one of the reasons why the Army, you became disenchanted with them was because they're to get that discipline you thought you were lacking? Didn't that just scream Marines
Yeah,
in the end?
yeah. I wanted to do something that was really going to shake my life, and that, and the conversation with my uncle who was in the Marine Corps, and he said, "I'll kick your ass if you join the Army," and
Yeah.
and I'm sure he would have. He's like, "Joe, be the best." He's like, "If you're going to do this, the Marines are the best." And then we talked one night. I was bartending, and it was like two in the morning, 3 in the morning. So that helped. Yeah.
So you're standing on a chair
Hmm.
in your drill sergeant's office and you're crooning Elvis.
Hmm.
And then you got to go back in, do it again with a crowd of drill instructors. And then you thought you would get out of it by saying, "Oh, sir, I need a guitar."
I took a
You
shot.
took a shot.
Yeah, took a shot.
How'd that turn out?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he was ready. I figured endure another round. I was nervous about, I don't know if they were using reverse psychology on me, but they liked it so much, and I'm thinking, I got to live with these guys out
Yeah,
here.
your squad ended up liking it too,
They
right?
did. Yeah, they did.
I think I have a favorite moment in this, and it's the hands behind your back for the sips of Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't even hand you the can.
No.
Is there a moment, any moment when you're training to be a Marine when they give you a freaking break and go, let him hold the can
Yeah, about, the day before you graduate.
the day before you graduate?
Yeah.
When you said, sir, I can't, and he said, do it, or I'll have Sergeant Lane grind you into dust in the quarterdeck. Did you even consider for a moment taking the PT instead of doing
Yeah.
it? You thought, I'd rather do
Well,
push-ups.
I just did it a couple weeks before. Yeah,
Yeah, you've
I didn't
considered it.
yeah, because I didn't know how the squad was gonna, they're gonna think I was kissing ass, or because he really liked it. I mean, he genuinely liked it.
What if it had been James Taylor? Yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah. Oh, you'd have been dead. But it was Elvis.
It was Elvis,
Elvis
yeah.
saved your
Yeah,
ass.
yeah,
Because if it had been anybody else,
yeah.
if they'd said, "Oh, look, here's some Jackson Brown. Here's a little Fleetwood Mac tune I've been working on."
Yeah, yeah, I don't think that was gonna work.
No, it was
Yeah,
Elvis that
yeah.
saved you. Joe, look, every time you come in here, you're wearing a shirt that has Marines on it.
Yep,
You still have a Marine haircut.
yep.
I ask you this every time you come in. I'm going to ask it again. And I know we all respect all the branches, but there's an inter-service competition.
Mhm.
What makes the Marines different?
It maybe the intimacy, it's smaller, maybe the smallest branch now.
A recent Marine answered the question this way. So the Air Force got their airplanes, Navy's got their ships, Army's got their tanks and their mobile carriers. We have each other.
That's it. Yeah. My squad, they enjoyed, they rallied behind. Anytime we go out, when we went out to the field at the end, I had to play the guitar around where we encamped. I played at the end of, I think, the last church service. So by that time, I was starting to go more to the Protestant services because I like the music better. And it was quite an experience. And then got to know the pastor, the chaplain. He somehow learned about, the music and said, how'd you like to come on play at
Somehow he learned about it. You
Yeah.
don't think everybody knew?
I'm sure. And did a rockabilly version of
You did not.
Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Yeah. And got standing ovation. He's right. It's a brotherhood. And it felt funny because I'm sure people in the Army feel that way too, but they're so big and they're so, the colonel, Kathleen, even to her, she told me, Joe, I am in the Army, women make up like 30%. She said, I was less than 1%.
This is Kathleen Harrison.
Yeah. And
Might
as a
even-
woman in the Marine
Yeah.
Corps. So imagine that. I've seen people from the Army meet, but there's something about two Marines that we meet. We've been through something together, whether it was war or not. And war is different. They've been through war.
Right.
Everybody shares that. I can't speak on that, but I know what you have to endure just to become a Marine, just through boot camp, is what binds us together. That makes us a tight-knit group. I don't think we ever lose that.
Just to become a Marine, the refining process is so distilling that only a Marine can come out the other end of it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And people don't want to admit it from other branches, but they know it. Some people don't go in because they hear stories about boot camp. So first of all, you have to be half off your nut to hear the stories about Marine Corps boot camp and say, oh yeah.
And then go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the kind of people going in.
Or it could be a desperate, misguided young man like you were.
There you go. Greatest line from Full Metal Jacket: the phony tough and the crazy brave. That was an awesome description. When I first saw that movie and that guy gives that line, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been surrounded by for the last several years here.
Always Fidelis.
That's it. Always faithful.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. The Mighty Pen Project is a free writing program for military veterans and their families, offered by the Virginia War Memorial Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. If you'd like to learn more about the Mighty Pen or just send us your thoughts, email us at mppodcast@vawarmemorial.org or use the link in the podcast description. If you're a veteran or a family member of a serviceman or woman listening to this podcast anywhere in America, and you want to learn how to best write and tell your own powerful stories, you can sign up for one of our Mighty Pen writing workshops on Zoom. If you want to read today's piece and many more, use the link to go to the Mighty Pen archive. If you enjoy this podcast, please share it. Music for this episode was provided by Jackson Albrecht. Lastly, if you'd like to support the Mighty Pen's efforts to record and preserve these stories of service, adventure, and sacrifice, follow the charitable donation link in the podcast description. I'm David L. Robbins, and I want to thank you for listening to the Mighty Pen podcast. It's an honor